Hi guys, welcome back to a new video on the channel. Now, as you know by the title of this video, it's what is going on at Reading. How do you solve a problem like Reading? Oh my god. It's been one of those 48-hour periods where everything is going crazy and we're all trying to work out what is actually going on, what is happening. So, what we know so far, or we're led to believe so far, the new owners have fired Nigel Howe, the CEO, and they've replaced him with somebody whose name I can't pronounce. They have sacked Mark Bowen as the manager of the club and moved him back to his sporting director role, which is a little bit odd that they've done that. And there were significant rumours about a guy called Alexander Stankovic, who was the Serbian national coach, and it was believed that he would be taking over as manager. A little over about 8-9 hours later, we then get told he's not taking over, and a new person has been linked, is the word I'm going to use. And I'm going to have to look at the notes here. This player, Veljko Panovic, I believe is how you say this guy's name. He is also a Serbian as well, so we're obviously going down the Serbian route. But again, we don't know. This hasn't been confirmed. It hasn't been. There are sources that say this is happening. We have to believe it until Reading themselves come out and say anything. But also, we're being led to believe that Quentin Fortune, the ex-Manchester United midfielder, will be joining the coaching staff under this guy. On Friday, after the Tottenham friendly, the players are flying out to Portugal for 10 days for a training camp before the new season, and that is allegedly where he's going to meet up with the players, so we're supposed to believe. That then brings in another two questions. Who is going to play in the West Ham friendly, and what about the first game of the season in the Carabao Cup against Colchester? Is it going to be the under-23s that play? A certain first-team player is going to fly back. How's that going to work? And are we going to play any games over in Portugal? So, yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Then you're seeing reports like we're supposedly going to be signing 6 to 8 players to try and make the Premier League, and I don't know. There's a lot going on, a lot of chaos, a lot of rumours, a lot of, well, I think this is happening, well, I think that's happening, and I haven't really posted much about it because, again, you don't know the truth behind anything. You don't know what's actually going on. There's a lot of people at Reading that have Twitter that these sources are coming through, and you would be inclined to believe them. But they were also the same sources that said about Stanovic, and then that's turned out not to be the case. So it's been a whirlwind sort of 48 hours, maybe 62 hours or so for Reading fans. But we just, like everybody, we just want stability. We just want. I don't want to have to do another run like I did towards the end of last season. I've not been Mark Bowen's biggest fan from day one. I said that, from the start, that I just thought he was, he's an assistant, he's not a manager. And actually, looking back over his time at the club, to be honest, I'm actually glad he's gone back to sporting director, because I've not really seen him as the man to take us forward. I always thought he was okay, and I was starting to sort of buy into his philosophy and ideas, but long term, he didn't strike me as the man to take us forward. But then you would argue that if we're going to sack the manager now, that you'd want to get a name in that knows the Championship or knows management. Eddie Howe's probably a bit far-fetched, but he's an amazing manager. But then there's likes of Nigel Pearson. Again, I've always said about Nigel Pearson being our boss, but it's looking like that's not the case. And this Panovic, or Pranovic, however you say his name, is going to be the new manager. Then we've got to get behind him. Obviously, we will. We've got to look. At least he's a manager. At least he's had experience. I believe Chicago Fire was his last club over in the MLS. So we don't know a lot about him. We don't know a lot about what's going on. The owners have been very quiet, and I think that's the one thing that that worries the fans more than anything else are these owners that don't really talk, they don't really say much, and then all of a sudden they make these big statements, and as a club you sort of go, as a fan you go, what's going on here, and they're talking about, the Premier League and throwing money at it, and I said to someone today, I'm like, throwing 80, 90, 100, 200 million at a Championship club is not going to guarantee you Premier League football. The Championship is the hardest league in the world to get out of. Promotion-wise, relegation is simple, but promotion is difficult. I mean, not being horrible, you look at Leeds, how much money they spent over the years, and they've only just got promotion. West Brom, Fulham, even Nottingham Forest, Derby County. They got Wayne Rooney at the start of the season. Everyone's like, oh yeah, they're going to win the league now. No. And he's still one of those world-class players. So, and plus, they say about 6 to 8 players and promotion, but hang on a minute. Reading got 11 new players last summer, and we ended up 2 places higher than we did the previous season. So, unless you're going to buy quality players that we supposedly can't afford, it makes you wonder, because Hal got fired to release the money for Ajaria to sign from Liverpool, again if you believe the reports. So that's that. So we're still on zero, kind of money-wise. We haven't sold anyone. So where are the owners getting all this money all of a sudden? And that's the biggest fear, is that with FFP being frozen for 12 months, 11 months, yeah, that's fine, but you're running that risk of, if you don't get promotion, then you've really got to work out your finances, because yes, the Premier League's worth 100, 200 million pounds to any football club, but if you've invested 130, 140 million you don't have, and you don't get promotion, then you are guaranteed to face a points deduction. You're guaranteed to face FFP. You're guaranteed to be fined. So you're then going to lose even more money. You're then going to lose points. You're then going to lose players. You're then going to have to sell. And then you're going to end up playing with a weaker side. And then you're going to pretty much guarantee ending up in League One. You look at Wigan, you look at Hull, you look at Bolton, you look at Sunderland, you look at teams like Charlton, who have all had this problem, and now they've ended up in League One. Ipswich as well, another example. So you can't take for granted FFP, and that's what worries me the most. Is if this goes wrong, if the new manager comes in and they bring in these new players and we win games and we get promotion and everyone's singing and dancing, like get another one of them flags, we're fantastic. But there is that big risk that if it all goes wrong and you don't win the playoffs, or you don't finish second, or you don't finish first, you've got this massive amount of money that you've thrown that you don't have. I mean, we're even looking at the Carabao Cup. That brings in extra funds. Now, we're potentially playing our under-23s. Now, Colchester's first team are going to look at that and go, yes, please. This is a Colchester side that beat Tottenham Hotspur, and West Ham. Reading's under-23s ain't going to scare them. So, if we're in Portugal, that shows disrespect to the Carabao Cup. If we play the under-23s and we get beat, that's another opportunity until the FA Cup that we have of making money. And then, alright, we go into the third round of the FA Cup, we might get a big side there, but the League Cup gives you an opportunity in round 1, round 2, round 3 to get these funds, and then you get into round 4 and 5, and Premier League clubs don't care as much about the Carabao Cup as they do the FA Cup and everything. So, again, you've got that huge opportunity of making extra cash. But again, the owners don't seem to see that, and that's what's worrying me. That's what concerns me. That's what makes me think, well, what are you going to do? But if we're led to believe what is happening at Reading, that this guy, this Ponovich guy is going to be the new manager, and it's announced within the next 48 hours, yeah, okay, we'll get behind him. Bowen's gone to sporting director, so you kind of weirdly think that the guy that's been sacked has now got the job of helping find the person to replace him, and it brings that little awkwardness there. But then it makes you think, well, did Mark Bowen know he only had a season? Because he was talking like a man who was trying to take the club forward, but he never really had that vision for the future. I never really, when I heard him and like he'd talk, he never really spoke too far ahead, which makes you think, well, did he know that he was only going to be here till the end of the season? And as long as he kept us up, it didn't really matter. And that's the other thing. Is that what he was doing? Was he just keeping us up? And then this other manager was coming through? Because it seems a bit weird that Josh Lawrence signed because he was in Mark Bowen's plans for the new season. But now Mark Bowen isn't the manager, so how's Josh going to feel? You know, he's just joined a club because he wants to play under this, Mark Bowen, and now Mark's the sporting director and not his manager, and now another guy's going to come in, and then even so, they're going to bring in more players, and Josh is going to be like, well, hang on a minute, all of a sudden, is my place under threat, and I'm a new player, so it could disrupt things at the club, and that's a worry. We don't want things to be disrupted, but it's a lot of like I say, it's going to be a very interesting week. It's going to be a very interesting fortnight to see what happens on the transfer front, like what happens with the management, and then ultimately when the players get back playing, what their attitude's like. And the scary thing is, the first time we find this out could be against Derby on the first day of the Championship season. And if we rock up to Pride Park and we get slapped 3-4, whatever it is, 5-0, then you're going to think, well, was it all worth it? And it just makes you feel, are we going to be in for another 12 months of if onlys, and then we're going to spend the next 12 months worrying, is the club then going to, be in trouble? So it's worrying times. It is worrying. Like I say, we've had a few new owners in the last sort of 5-6 years, and it hasn't really worked out with any of them. They've all said the same thing, like owners do, but nothing's really materialised. Management-wise, we've gone through more managers, I think, than I've gone through socks. And that's not good. And almost more worryingly, Oxford and Swindon are starting to catch us up because they're both in League One now. And that'd be, I mean, we've been ahead of them for years. And that would be completely devastating if those two overtook us. Because you don't even want to think about that. That's a minor thing, but that's just another subplot to the whole thing. If we're not careful, we could end up going backwards. So, yeah, with all that being said, I'm excited about the prospect of a new manager. I'm excited because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't Mark Bowen's biggest fan, and I said that from day one. I criticised him in quite a few videos because he's an assistant manager, he's not a manager. I've said that all along, and I'm not going to change that opinion. We don't know. I mean, John O'Shea, it looks like he's staying. Quentin Fortune, as we said, has been linked to joining the coaching squad. Interesting. He's got experience. He played under Alex Ferguson, so that can't be bad. Scott Malone's been linked. The Derby defender's been linked with a move to Reading, and yeah, I wouldn't say no if that came justified. The whole Ajaria situation, I think, is driving Reading fans nuts because one minute we can afford him, the next minute we can't afford him, then we are thinking about affording him, and then we can't afford him, and you don't know. John Swift, we don't know. Is he staying? Is he going? Yeah, it's one of those situations that it's not gonna be resolved anytime soon. I'm worried about it. I'm nervous. I'm concerned. But I'm also excited because it could potentially be, I could be looking back on this 12 months time, supporting a Premier League side and going, wow, it all worked. But again, I could be sitting here in 12 months time, trying my hardest not to break into tears because we've been relegated to League One and the club's going south. One thing that about this football club is that the fans love this football club. I love this football club, but it's hurting me at the moment. It's hurting because you love your football club more than anything in the world. I couldn't live without this football club. I couldn't breathe without this football club. and I'll always love this football club, but it's punishing you at the moment. It's painful, it's hard, it's hurtful. You just, like I've always said, I don't expect us to win every single game and win every single trophy and be top of the league and be the best and everything like that. I don't. You just want honesty, you just want the team to perform, and you just want stability. You just want to know that, you know, everything's going to be alright, but at the moment it's worrying times. But it is exciting as well. So we have to kind of, without getting too emotional into it, we have to kind of take it for what it is at the moment, push on forward, and see what the future holds for the club. But what I will do, video wise, is if this does become a permanent deal, and you know he's there at the football club and he's done his interview and everything else, I will then do a welcome to the football club video for him, and we can discuss it a bit more then. But no, at the moment that's about it. I'm still kind of trying to work out what the next stage is, what the next bit of news is going to be, and what the next story is going to be with this football club. But one thing's for sure, being a Reading fan is not dull. It's entertaining, it's challenging, but we shall see. So guys, thank you again for watching. Please let me know what you think of the situation in the comments. If you're a Reading fan like myself, let me know what your thoughts are on the club. If you're not a Reading fan, again, it'd be nice to know how you're looking at the situation from outside. And just to remember, guys, the giveaway is still going on. The closing date for that is the 11th of September. And I'll be revealing the result on the 12th. Thank you again to all the new subscribers. The channel's growing day by day, which I'm really impressed with. I'm really happy about. I'm also very grateful and thankful for your likes, your comments, your support. It's been great. Hopefully soon we'll be doing some more live feeds and some more live videos, so that'll be good. We can all interact and get to know each other better there. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your week and stay tuned for what I'm sure will be some more exciting news when it involves Reading Football Club. Cheers guys, take care.